start.
La 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 la.
I just want to practice your name.
Peter Pepper. Pick the peck of pickled peppers.
Alaa.
Alaa. I feel like I am about to do something.
Be angry. The ayn needs to come out. You're swallowing it.
I want to do this every time. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Teachers and Parents. We finally have a name. I finally have a name. He said yes to it. In our previous episode, we were talking about the scoring system at schools. It was a very nice video. If you still haven't watched it, you can find the link in the description box below. We have already got how many episodes?
This is the third episode?
Yes, this is the third. And don't look so
test?
surprised.
You're the teacher and I felt like I'm being tested right now. Like, did you do your homework, Alaa?
No.
Have you been watching the series?
At the end of our conversation last time, we ended up talking about Mira, and I found that, I already knew that Mira was being homeschooled, but the topic was really engaging, and I thought that we could actually record another video, talk about it thoroughly in more details. He's doing it a little bit reluctantly, if I'm not mistaken, because I think it's trial and error right now.
Honestly, personally, I was always against it, particularly because I believe that Mira needs to be around other kids her age and to interact with them and all of that. We were kind of forced into this because Mira wasn't liking the school that she was in, and we live in Turkey. There's the language barrier, even though she has learned a lot of Turkish. She's relaxed with the language, more or less, at least more than me. But still, there's this language barrier, and I don't know, she wasn't fitting in, and we couldn't find a proper school for her. Homeschooling was the available option, and her mom was more supportive of it for quite some time, and I was like, okay, we should try it, and we've been trying it for a few months now.
That's really nice. I was actually about to ask you what made you do it. Yeah, and now I guess I got the answer. That's really nice.
Yeah.
But there's always buts, when it comes to a teacher that has been working in, at school. I've always had, even for myself, I've always had the traditional schooling myself, and then started working for years in the traditional way of education and giving schooling to children. So now my biggest concern is the curriculum. How do you manage it? Okay, wait a minute, let me explain. Do you think Mira needs to know math as much as going to a supermarket and being able to buy herself an ice cream, or I need to tell her more of that? What about geography, history?
So Mira is a bit young. She's almost 6 now. So yes, she has to learn a lot of these, but it's not as strict as if she's in 5th grade, or I don't know. But we've been covering. I say we've, but her mom is the one who has been closely doing all the choices and organizing the classes. Her classes cover the basics, language. She's learning English, and she's learning Arabic with me. She's taking math, and she's taking dancing and even geography. But all these classes are being given in a more engaging, more fun way. Before the last video, I had this post about Mira. What did she learn? She was excited to tell me about Egypt. And in her geography class, they went to Egypt, virtually. And she was very excited about the topic, and did you know about pyramids? Did you know about this, about that? And she was telling me all of that. Yes, when we started this, I've been reluctant, and I don't deny that I'm still kind of reluctant about this whole homeschooling thing, but I've noticed how Mira is very excited about the classes, as opposed to how she was literally scared of the idea of going to school the next day.
How do you manage this, being a parent and a teacher at the same time? How do you do it?
Okay, so this is how it goes, at least with Mira. there's a program. Like I'll give credit to her mom. Zena is doing all this work. She has chosen classes based on what Mira likes. And there's always trial and error. If there's like a certain class that or a certain teacher that she doesn't like, she removes it and adds something else. Basically, there's like a visual program for Mira to follow. And it changes day after day. Like today there's like this is the an agenda يعني. And Mira can know, okay, now we're in this class, this is the next class, etc. There's a babysitter who also takes care of Mira on a couple of days. So basically, all we do is just prepare Mira for the next class. Even she can do it. Like now she knows, okay, this is the program. She presses on it. She goes to Zoom, because they're all online classes, and most of them, and like she can do it all herself. We just help her into like transitioning her from her breaks to her classes, or from one class to another, etc. But like she can do it all herself.
Agenda that you talked about, like how did Zana come up with it? Do you know? Like, was it like something prepared already? Did she get it from somewhere, or she designed it herself?
No, she designed it herself.
Wow.
Yeah, she looked up the classes and the teachers and
and everything else. Wow.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about the daily, like the routine, like how does a typical day of homeschooling look like? You can talk about, your own experience, the days that you have her.
Again, like I'm talking about this, I'm not as comfortable talking about this because I'm not the one who is fully supporting at least, and I'm not the one who has been doing all this work.
Of course.
There are apps that Mira follows. There's Khan Academy, there's Adapted Minds, and there are worksheets that she can do either on herself, by herself, like the apps, or the worksheets with us, we can help her with. There are breaks, there are the classes, the online classes. There's always like a break between one class and another, like at least 5 minutes break. And like basically like there's like core classes, maybe 3 or 4 core classes online, but the rest are just like worksheets and apps. And like she's been very excited about most of her classes and most of her day,
Is she receiving any face-to-face lessons right now, or all of them are online?
So all of them are online except for the worksheets, because someone who's taking care of her is giving her the worksheets. And the worksheets are usually either based on her classes or just extra worksheets. And there's the Arabic class. One of them, at least, like I give her 2 Arabic classes. One of them is face-to-face. The Arabic class, like in my case, is very unstructured. I usually check how her energy is, and I adapt accordingly. So I don't even have a proper program. We usually try, which I'm designing, like a digital game that I'm going to sell on Etsy one day.
I have seen it. It's interesting.
Not the board game, like something else. Like I'm doing I Spy with My Little Eye. So I did something in Arabic, and basically I'm doing a home edition and city edition and maybe village edition. So it's like it would be like a group of sheets with a cheat sheet for the parent, and like the kid can go around the house and like try to name words like with the Arabic letters. And this is something I've been playing with Mira to teach her the Arabic letters. Like, okay, like especially when she's like uninterested and doesn't have the energy to take a class, and she's not that excited about the language itself. And I'm like, okay, we're not gonna learn. We're gonna play, and then we go around the house. Let's say with the letter Alif. And then, okay, this thing or that thing, we name it, we draw it, we color it, we add marks, we add like points, like it's a game, etc. And like we have fun.
That's really nice. So actually, I wanted to ask, like, with you said that you are sort of flexible. Like when she's not in mood, she just doesn't do it. But what happens like with the agenda and like the schedule that she has? Is it like flexible? Do you guys let her be when she doesn't want to be in a Zoom meeting or something? Like, how does it work? Because we know that kids, it's hard for them to sit behind a laptop and just listen and do things. So How
And
does
Mira
it
is very
work?
active. So in theory, it depends on how Mira is interested in the subject itself. But and her energy level and etc. But like most of the time, because she has the freedom to move around, she's focused on her classes. She doesn't mind them. Sometimes you can notice that okay, she's in the class, but like she's moving around and I don't know what, like she just needs like a gentle reminder to go back to her computer. She has this option which she doesn't have at school, that she can have snacks while she's studying, and this has been like a big thing for her. Like, okay, like I'm not like there's no teacher who's yelling at me because I want a snack right now. Oh no, she's gonna have a snack. I don't know what. Sometimes her motive is like, okay, by the end of this class, I can share with this teacher. Like she likes the idea of sharing, like her mind and like saying something and whatever. So she finds like certain interests in certain classes, and that would be her push usually. There are certain classes where she would have a pencil and paper, and she could be, which I was at some point against, I'll explain. But then like it reminded me of myself as a kid. So she could be a drawing, and like she's listening to the teacher, but she's not like really looking at what the teacher is saying. And she's just drawing and probably doing something totally different. But at the end, she is learning. And I was like that as a kid. And like, I hate to admit it, but like, I was like that. I was someone who can be, and I'm still like that, who can be more focused if I am in, like, I remember I would be like studying and watching TV and eating at the same time. Like I would be watching like a football game and like I'm studying something, or I'm solving like math equations or whatever, and I'm eating at the same time, all three together. And like it's not multitasking, it's just like I'm focused, and this is how it helps
for
me.
God's sake, it is multitasking.
No, it's more of, it helps me, like I'm focused on one thing, which is the homework. But it's like the other things are just getting me excited and like engaged. I think like
really
something like that.
interesting.
I can't explain it, but like I do it right now, and when I'm writing, sometimes I go to a cafe, even when I'm working. It's like I'll be very focused on the work that I'm doing, but I want like this background noise around me, like to keep me awake, and it gives me energy. Like when I'm at home alone, like okay, I get tired, I feel sleepy, I don't know what. Like I find myself like just procrastinating. This time, by the way, I'm talking more than you are.
It's okay.
But when I'm in a cafe or I'm around people like working with me, I get excited. The problem is if I'm around people, I might get them distracted, because it's like I get excited
You're
about
all
a certain
over the place.
like I get excited about an idea, and like I have to tell them, and then I have like to have someone to remind me. It's like, okay, how about you continue working, and then like on the break you can explain your idea, write it down or something.
Is it the same with Mira? Does she do that?
She gets distracted by certain ideas, and like she would like want to get it across, like I want to tell you this before she continues, like
That's nice. But I mean, the whole thing you're talking about is great. I mean, I am really resonating with the idea. Yes, it's too scary for me. But what you just said actually happens to the students in my class as well. Sometimes it's like, especially last year when I was working with primary, you have a lot of kids that are actually sitting and doing other things in the classroom. You know, like you really want to work on your classroom management at times. I mean, some supervisors might not like it to come and pass by your lesson and see like one student is like lying on the ground and like looking at you, like it's really scary. But like or some students just drawing, as you said, they're just doodling stuff, but like at the end of the lesson when you ask questions, you see that they know the answer, and it's really like surprising. But what concerns me here is something else. I mean, let's shift our focus to the way she socializes right now, because we know that it's actually an important part of, especially a kid, 6, 7. I mean, any kind of kid. We cannot say that just 6-year-olds need it. they need to interact with other kids. How do you provide that for her?
So we've been trying to brainstorm for ideas because we live in Turkey, and like again, language is a barrier, a big barrier, and we don't know many people here. And most of our friends don't have kids or don't have kids of Mira's age. I've been trying to organize board game events for the kids that I know to play with Mira. I take her to the parks. The aim is to try to take her to one place so that she can try to see the same people over and over again, but still it's a work in progress. It's still not there yet. Especially recently, Mira has been going back and forth to Lebanon, and I've moved out of one place to another, etc. So it's a challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I had ideas of organizing events for parents, and I need to be more active about that, Yani.
Actually, today I was reading like an article, and it said that like if you can find I'm sure that it's not easy, because to tell the truth, I mean, I don't know how many people are homeschooling right now in Istanbul in general, but like if you can find a community of other parents that are homeschooling right now, I mean, it would be a little bit hard because again, you might have the language barrier, but like I think you're already doing it, trying to organize like events. But like maybe if you focus on organizing events that are for other parents that are homeschooling, like niche down a little bit.
But like when you say niche down a little bit, it's like, okay, I have a lot of options and I need to like break them down. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of options. Like we do our, like as adults, we have like our social networks. But the problem is, like, I don't know, maybe because parents are usually somewhere else. They're not on the same platforms that we are in. I'm a parent, but like the people that are in the social networks that we are creating usually don't have kids. So it has been a bit challenging. Yeah.
The ones that are watching might actually have kids.
If you live here in Turkey, in Istanbul, and you have kids, 5 to 8 or something like that. Mira 6. Let's like comment and like let's
let's find each other. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's a big challenge. As I see it, everything else could be managed, as you said, like the agenda. You can actually, like, I was thinking that I'm also an English teacher, so you can like get exams for. Or even like the books that I'm working with, you can get ideas from me, but you cannot get a kid out of me, you know, to play with Mira. So that I think is one of the biggest challenges that, I don't know, have you noticed anything that is not normal that other kids do that Mira is not doing, like that concerns you, especially about the way she socializes with other people? Do you feel the lack of it when you see her around other kids?
No, I think generally Mira is like, she can easily socialize, but like she always, like even when we are meeting other kids in the park, she might go and play with them if they're like friendly enough, and like if she's in the mood and excited, she doesn't have a problem with that. But she would always complain that she wants to play with someone she knows.
Aww.
Like she doesn't care about playing with this random kid. She wants to play with a kid that she would know. So that's the biggest challenge, Yani.
But how would she know a kid? I mean, if she doesn't like initiate, you know?
She can initiate, but like the problem is whenever we're meeting kids in the park, it's usually a one-time thing. Like, okay, we meet them once and that's it.
Yeah.
So unless like she meets them on a regular basis, she still feels, and I understand that, because when I was a kid, I was like that. Like I would want like someone like to connect with, like not just like okay, and just play and go. Like no.
Yeah, that's the thing that is happening like at the school right now. I have like a lot of, I'm not trying to lure you into taking her to school right now, but I'm just pointing out that, let's be honest, one of the biggest advantages of the traditional schooling system that we have right now is, I mean, I have students that come to class, and when I ask them like, why do you come to school, they're like, I have friends here, like, believe it or not,
Yeah.
they're like, their sole reason for coming to school is their friends.
Yeah, I was like that. Like I used to, I lived in a place where it was a bit far from people, and it was a bit like scary for my parents to let me out of the house. I lived in Lebanon and it wasn't safe in the area that I was in. So I was like extremely bored at home. I would wait for the weekend to go outside the where I live to the village to see my grandparents, my cousins, etc. And the summer are like very boring, and I would wait for the school year to start. I would like literally wait. Yeah, I mean like I didn't like the school because I'm a nerd. I like the school because I wanted to because like this is where I meet my friends. And it helped me. It helped me be good in school because I was like I liked the school. Like there was something I like about the school, and it made me study more and like be focused more, etc. But like yeah, the motive wasn't the actual material. The motive was like meeting my friends.
So can we agree on the fact that homeschooling can have a lot of advantages, but like one of the biggest disadvantages could be like the lack of interaction with people the same age as your kid?
So Mira, when we tried asking her what's the problem with the school that she's in. She complains about how the teacher is always like upset with her or angry with
That's
her.
nice. So
Or
she has the experience of a real school.
yeah. I mean,
That's
yeah.
really nice.
So she and, like it was like the one that she went to in Turkey for like a year. It wasn't like really a school. It was more of a like a daycare. But like there are like it was a structured daycare, so it's a school, yeah. But she used to go before the pandemic. She was very young, and she still remembers. She used to go to a daycare back in Lebanon, and it was a Montessori daycare. So there, they didn't have a structure like here. So it wasn't like a school; it was a daycare, and she had the freedom to play. They had the system where like kids can go from one space to another. They're not confined to one space. The teacher would be doing activities with the kids, but if one kid wants to do something else, the kid has the freedom to do that something else. And she loved it, and she always compared the school that she attended here in Turkey to that school in Lebanon. And she always also, before now, taking the classes online, she used to always say, and she wants my cousin used to teach her during the pandemic for like a year and a half, also probably, I don't know how long. She used to teach her at home. So she was being homeschooled even before. And she loved it, and she loved my cousin. And she always also like reminds us, like, okay, can I do that again? Can I have Marwa, my cousin, again? Because she loved the way she was studying. I think like also when it's homeschooling or with one teacher, even like now her online classes, there's like fewer students, so more attention. So she
There
gets
are other students.
yeah,
as well.
but like not all classes. Sometimes it's only one-on-one online. But I think this attention where she feels that okay, it's not like and it's not an attention where strict like you do this, and if you don't do this like you're being punished, or I'm getting upset, or I'm getting angry. No, she is getting the attention from the teacher, and she has some kind of freedom. She feels safe, she feels comfortable. She has all of that that she didn't have in the school or the daycare here in Turkey.
That is again, I am totally for it, even at times. You know that in our previous video when we were talking about scoring system, I was like all the time thinking about the fact that sometimes like it really doesn't make sense the way that we feed them with information, and we want exactly the same thing we gave them to them. Yes, we do want them to analyze things at the same time. We want them to work on their analytical skills as well, but like the way we score things, it takes the freedom, as you said, away from everything. And we had a full conversation about it. I don't want to like repeat things right now, but like it stresses me out because of the assessment, like the testing. Testing is also important. Let's say that, yes, I don't want her to do a full exam, but I want to know whether she knows how to use the information that she's given as well. Like right now, if she receives lessons, let's say about geography, about math, about history, even about Arabic, how do you assess, or how do you understand? Do you use materials that are ready made? Do you do it yourself? Do you take her outside? How do you exactly do that?
So the grades, at least at this stage, are not important. Yani, maybe they're important when she wants to go into school or when she wants to go into college later on. But like at this early age, they're not important. What's important is she having fun and is she learning? But then you'd say, okay, but what did she learn? Like, did she when she took this class about Egypt and she loved the class about the Egypt, like, did she memorize everything? Probably not. Does she remember what she took? Probably not. But she was excited at the time, and something has stuck. I'm sure something has stuck. Even in in schools, we never remember everything. Like, we used to study right before the exam so that it can refresh our memory to do the exam and take our grades, and then forget everything that we've learned. Because not every single thing that we learn, especially in school, is important. What's important is the things that we're interested in. And we're going to build this interest as we go, as we grow. And one day, like now, I don't study history. I don't study geography. I'm a designer. I am interested in that, in this domain. I'm still interested in watching documentaries, learning about the history, but just out of curiosity. Maybe if I have a project, I might put more effort and energy into learning more about it.
I am sorry to interrupt you. I may forget this. I really want to say it.
Yeah.
You pointed out something very important, which let's say that a lot of researchers, I think, especially not researchers, but we are doing a lot of research in language learning. So let's say a lot of us are talking about real life situations and putting it into our educational system. And the more we do it, the better experience both. I think right now, from my observation of you, I can say both the parent and the kid have. The parents, let's be honest, you need to be knowing that your kid is learning something, right? So you will be like, why does my kid need to know about this king that lived years ago right now? What benefit does it have for my kid? Or all of these vocabulary items that I am giving the kids that they need to memorize, what good will come out of that? Especially with my kind of teaching, which is literature based mostly. Yes, I will try to adapt a lot of communicative, let's say that I do have the communicative approach as well, but there are times that they're just words, okay? Because it's a novel they're reading, and some of them they might not even use. But the fact that I can find a way to make it connected with their real life, let's say, experience is what can make it valuable. I think for you, for her, she can just come home and be like, do you know that today I learned about Egypt? And you will be like, oh yeah, that's interesting. So what did you learn? And then if you can connect it to her life and what she can do with it in real life, then it is meaningful for you. Then even evaluating it will not be that important because she knows what to do with it, right?
So I get what you're saying. I think this cannot be applied in everything. When she learned about Egypt, I'm not going to force a certain connection to real life into that. But she could start seeing this in movie references and in other places where she's watching, this is like a mummy. This is, I don't know what, this is the shape of a pyramid. So she can still draw connections because she has this background. And this is what we as adults do. We read about something, we learn about something, and then here we are talking about a subject that we're not really Like, we're not an expert.
Exactly.
But like, we can talk about it because we've lived it, we've read something about it, we drew connection from our own experiences. And this is what she's doing. Like, she learns about something, and then she's using it in a different context, or she's noticing it in different contexts. And what's important from all of this, like, to me and to us, it's not about the grades again. It's about, okay, like, now we can notice that her use of language in English in particular has advanced over the course of like a couple of months. Because of the classes that she was taking one class in the Turkish school, and it was very basic for the amount, like, for the knowledge that she has. It was mostly like a game, like, even like the teacher was trying, like, in the videos that they shared with us, to play games, like, with like two competing against each other, and Mira was like doing them very easily because they were very basic to her level. We noticed the difference that she's learning now, that she's more capable of using the language properly. Even she's more accepting, because recently I started a new series of stories in English, not just the Arabic series. She used to resist. Now she's more accepting. It's like, okay, I'm gonna listen. And then, like, the recent story that I still didn't publish, she was like, I really like it. Like, she was expressing her admiration to the new story.
Just so you know, he has a podcast. We have talked about it before, but like right now, it's a good chance for us to talk about that time stories. There is a YouTube channel and also a podcast. There will be a link somewhere, maybe here. Okay, we will definitely put it in the description box below for you to go and follow. There are, let's say, bedtime stories. I think in two different languages, Arabic
and English, yes. Mm-hmm. But even the English have some Arabic words, because the main audience is the Lebanese or the Arabs living, the expats living outside their Arab countries. But still, like, the English stories are for, like, a wider audience of English speaking kids. And like, I don't know, but like, I've had adults listen to my stories and enjoy them, especially the Lebanese, because I try to add some cultural references, some, like, I'm not gonna say jokes. I'm not a jokes person, but, like, something that excites me at least. Like, I enjoy them. Like, I enjoy writing them.
I also like them. So, I have listened to some of them. I don't understand some things, and then he just gives me, like, the background. Like, this comes from that. This comes from this.
So yeah, I enjoy these references that I insert here and there.
So back to what we were talking about like homeschooling and everything. Let's wrap up our conversation with I know that you are still, like, testing things. It's like trial and error every single day. But, like, do you have any advice for those parents that are about to homeschool their kids, because they might be in the same situation with you? They might, be in a country that maybe there is a lot of language barrier. Maybe their kid needs some time to, try and go to the traditional schools. So they might need to do the same thing, or they might just be interested, because these days everybody is interested in doing things from home. So do you have any advice for them?
So it definitely helps to have to trust the kid, and to trust to observe how interactive they are with their classes, and how different they feel towards their current classes versus the classes of a traditional school. Nothing is set in stone, so if a class isn't working for the child, probably try something else. The visual reference and the timer, Mira has a timer, like, okay, her class is 30 minutes, like, there's like a timer that, like, 30 minutes, and she would know, and okay, it's done. She can move on in her life. And I understand that every kid is different. Like, even when I compare myself to Mira, I'm not really Mira, and she's not really me. Probably she's closer in her character to her mom in many ways. And I'm sure that every kid is very specific and very unique. And this is where it's all about the trial and error, and it's all about seeing what makes sense to the kid, to the child, and learn from the process.
Yeah, as you are moving on. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a work in progress. That's nice. Do you think she's prepared? I mean, do you plan on like one day taking her back to like a real school?
So there is a chance, probably, if she's traveling to Canada, and there's a chance that she might go to school again. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, to me, like the idea of her going back to school is very exciting, because I want her to experience childhood the way I did. And but like, I understand that many don't have the same experience as I did. Many have seen the ugly side. Like, I've seen the ugly side of the school, but I've never really cared about that ugly side. Like, I had bullies, and I had you can do an episode about bullies. I've had bullies, and I've had I don't know, bad teachers. I had a teacher that I still remember, like the Arabic teacher. I hated Arabic because of her. She made me cry. I understand how ugly a school is, but at the same time, looking back at my school times and school years, I don't want to not go through it. Like, I value it. But this is my experience, and from what I've been observing with Mira, that she hated the school structure, and I need to learn to accept, to respect the fact that she's hating it, and it's counterproductive in her case.
Well, you learned after all those years how to face bullies, right?
Uh,
I
don't
mean,
know. I mean, I faced bullies in my own way. Yes.
but because these days we're reading the book called Wonder with my sixth graders. It's actually about a kid who is autistic, and like the parents are homeschooling the kid, but they decide. Maybe you have watched the film, like Wonder. If you haven't, like watch it. It's a really interesting
Okay,
one.
maybe we can tell Kayvan and
Yeah.
have him.
And watch it together.
Yes.
I have watched parts of it because like I'm teaching the book these days, and it's really interesting for me the way mom and dad are actually talking about the fact that yes, he will be bullied because of his deformed face. We know that, but like he has to find a way to face those bullies, because in future that is one situation that could really happen to him.
So this was one of my major concerns, is that if we are protecting Mira from the world, because the world is ugly out there, we're not going to be around her all the time. We've learned from our own mistakes. Like, I believe that we go through pain and we fall. There's like this, that always comes to my mind, like this line from Batman Begins, "Do you know why we fall, sir? To learn how to pick ourselves up again." When we are protecting the child and removing all these obstacles, I'm not saying let's put them into obstacles, but like, I don't know, like I think it's a bit scary. Like, the child is obviously not happy in a certain environment, so we need to protect the child. We need to remove them and put them in a healthier environment. Correct. But at the same time, the world is full of unhealthy, very ugly environments. So how can we prepare this child to this world? So I don't know. I don't know what's the answer. Like at least with the little things, like when we're playing and Mira falls, it's like, yeah, stand up. It's not like, I don't hug her or I don't give her love, but like I wouldn't, like, ask her not to fall or not to play and be careful. Like, okay, do all of that. But where do we draw the line of being protective or overprotective or not protective at all? I don't know.
Because she has to at some point learn that you're not always going to be there to hold her hand. Yes, she has to find her own way. And this is taking me back to my own childhood and all of the experiences that I had with the bullies, with the times that my dad was actually there to help, the times that he was obviously not there at school or in other places to protect me. But that is the discussion for another video, because we are done with this.
Or
I
else we're
think-
gonna keep on going forever.
We're
Yeah.
gonna go forever, and I'm not sure if it is recording or not. Like, this is something that we will find out right now. It was really fun for me to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for being with us. Stay tuned for another video from teachers and parents. And soon we will definitely have some other plans for that time stories. Or maybe there is another YouTube channel coming up. I mean, we're brainstorming all the time and things just pop up. Just stay tuned for new episodes from me and Alaa.
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 Alaa.